On this episode of Content Sessions, I talk with Nicholas Ciddio about building a clothing empire. Thanks a lot, man, for coming.
How you doing?
I'm excellent. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Cool. So we got connected in a way that I've been connecting with everybody lately.
Correct.
Straight off Instagram.
It's
Love
crazy.
it.
Social media actually does wonders.
I love it,
For
man.
sure.
It's such an interesting way to just reach and communicate with people that you'd never otherwise even come across or have an opportunity to talk to. So yeah, I'm glad you reached out. I'm glad we're getting to chat. Yeah, man. So tell us about your company.
So it started in July 2017. It all started basically, I was going to school, second year university, and I had a global management studies teacher. His name was Dr. Abukadr. And I remember I was going, and he would always talk to me as if he was talking to me on a one-on-one, not just talking to the class. And he would always say, sell a business on a global scale. So I started thinking of something, and when he would mention certain brands in Toronto, or they're very particular with just selling to Toronto. They're not selling to every city or every country or whatever case may be. So I thought about all cities because it's inclusive and it includes everyone.
Got
basically.
it. And it's All Cities Clothing?
Correct.
Yeah, and at All Cities Clothing on Instagram and Facebook?
Correct.
Both?
That's
Nice.
correct.
And allcitiesclothing.com?
It's www.allcitiesclothing.com.
.com. Awesome. Cool. And so why clothing? How did you get started in that? What inspired it?
So basically, whenever he kept mentioning certain brands, he would mention certain clothing brands from Toronto, and I would notice that they're very demographic to one city. One city, for example, being the Six. And with that being said, I started thinking, okay, what if I started my own clothing brand and just called it All Cities? I could sell to everyone. Any city, Toronto, Calgary, New York, any city across the world, basically.
Yeah. And did you have any experience in the clothing space before, or this is just super random?
No, super
just
random.
How it came out, yeah. Nice. And so when you started it, was it just yourself?
Correct.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's always been just myself up until this point so far.
Got it.
Yeah.
And so what's your goal with it? I mean, having the ability to sell to every city is great, but what's kind of your motivation behind it? Was it just you just happened upon a product and that product was clothing, or what was...
So yeah, honestly, I was so confident with the idea through going to class and always having that idea, when he would talk about other clothing brands. So that kind of inspired me, just having that secondhand referral from my teacher.
Yeah.
Obviously it is hard to sell clothes though, because there's different variations, different colors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's why I tried to start to diversify my income in different ways with marketing and stuff like that. And we also have celebrities wearing our clothing, which is why I've had more motivation to continue the company.
Yeah.
If that's what actually answers your question.
Got it.
Yeah.
Cool. And then the celebrities, or were they people that you know, or was that just like straight DM, like reaching out?
Honestly, just like how I met you, same thing, like just messaging people and not being afraid. Just because someone has 5 million followers doesn't mean that they're not seeing your message. Doesn't mean that they're not seeing, you message them and reach out to them and show them love or passion or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. Sounds good. And who came up with, kind of going back, it was basically everything was done by you. Did you develop the logo and the designs and the styles, or did you have other people kind of involved?
Yeah, so no, I always seen this image in my head when I thought about the All Cities, and I imagined it being cursive because it's a clean font. Looks casual, but not too streetwear, and I just envisioned it to be so flowing with the AAC. Yeah. And I just envisioned it to go so well, and it actually worked, and it looks very clean.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, it's funny. I don't have any design or style in any way whatsoever, or artistic ability, which is a big hindrance in my industry. So I've got these concepts that I'm to my clients where I'm like, look, you got to do it exactly like this, and cool, draw it, and I'm like, oh fuck, I don't know how that's gonna work. It's so bad. It's so hard for me to get stuff out of my head on a paper or onto so. That's great that you were able to do it.
Yeah.
Do you have any design experience in terms of Photoshop, or is it just kind of
No, not really at all actually. I guess you can say everyone's artistic in their own sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I guess I don't know, I just had an idea and I executed it.
Yeah.
It wasn't more of my artistic capability. It was more of just okay, I have this idea. Instead of just putting it on a paper, let's put this into action. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love that. Very cool. And so when you first started it up, was it website, social, and that was kind of like how you started, like just started it out that way?
So yeah, when I started, I had this idea. It was in my head. You know, I went on, Google, found a website that supplied wholesale clothing. Got my first box of 36 pieces. I remember that day. I went all the way downtown Toronto, and I brought the whole box. I remember I brought it. I walked like on the subway. Every time I bring a box, it's on my skateboard. I'm pedaling.
Right.
Like you don't need a car to get to places, right? And so yeah, I would do that. I'd get to my spot. I got them printed for the first time. They came out pretty good. And then, over time, I just started developing new designs, cleaner, simple, more streetwear.
Yeah. Do you remember how you hustled the first bunch out the door?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So that leads me back to your answer. So yeah, basically, when I first started, everything was through like first-hand communication.
Okay.
And then I started to move to e-commerce through my website, which would be www.allcitiesclothing.com.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely makes a bigger impact, reaching out to sell something to someone when you're not even there, right?
Yeah, for sure. So your first box was just literally just walking around being like, you're going to buy my sweater.
Yeah, well, the first thing I would say is family and friends, right?
Yeah.
If your family and friends don't support you, then who will?
Fair enough.
Right.
And was it the first batch of what you did was hoodies specifically?
Yeah, it was majority hoodies, correct.
Got it.
I feel like hoodies actually sell more often, even in the summer season, which is a little bit interesting, right?
Yeah, I love hoodies all around.
Yeah,
They're just so comfortable, cozy. I'm always cold as well, so that doesn't help. So, and so when you set up your website, how far in was that? A couple months or like?
I'd say around 4 to 6 months. It wasn't something I was too sure of until I incorporated it.
Yep.
So actually I incorporated it. I trademarked the business when I was 19 years old.
Nice.
Right now I'm 21. So we've been running for around 2 years right now. So.
Okay, very cool. And so what was the trademark process like? Did you have to, I've heard horror stories of having to apply multiple times and try and manipulate the way that it's going through. Did you guys get it through on your first try?
Well, I can tell you I'm still waiting.
Got it.
I only had one office report on one of my trademarks, which isn't too bad.
Right.
Just a little fix. Got to send it back to them. That's it. But that's been done. I just got to wait. Trademarks can take up to years.
Yeah.
So you got to be patiently waiting, and then the fees and stuff like that. So
everything's
just a lot of legality. There's a lot of legal processes that go through.
Yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah. People don't realize it until they actually get that brown letter in your mail, or
exactly.
Then you start tripping out.
Yeah. And so about 4 months in, then I guess you said you built the e-commerce site. Did you build on Shopify?
Yeah, I actually originally started with Shopify. I don't know why I wasn't too fond of Shopify. They are a good platform though. I would suggest them. However, I just moved to something more simpler, and I find it much easier for me. So
what is it on now?
It's on GoDaddy right now. Yeah.
Okay, on their like e-com builder.
Yeah, it's just more simple for me to set up because I'm doing everything by myself.
Yeah, and if you feel I've built something in every e-commerce platform, and if you don't have like a comfort level of where the things are, the settings, the design elements of that, then it can be a little bit of a pain.
Yeah, there's so much you can do on Shopify. It's so diverse. So
yeah. And so your experience with GoDaddy so far has been pretty good?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I've actually never done e-commerce on there, but I haven't heard anything one way or another about quality. So, okay, sweet. Yeah, because I popped onto the site and it has like a nice, it has a nice, simple, clean appeal.
Yeah, not too fancy.
Yeah.
You don't want to distract your audience because, people are have very short retention span.
Yeah.
The less clicks you give them, make it easier for your customers,
For sure. And so how many SKUs do you have now? And is it all men's or there's women's?
No, there's men's and women's. I have women's tracksuits as well. Sweaters, track pants, face masks, hats, toques, all sorts.
And what's your demographic in your mind?
I'd say my demographic is more lean to celebrities. And the reason why I try to target celebrities is simply for the fact that they have a larger audience. I have no audience.
Yep.
People will only wear your products if Joe Blow X, Y, and Z is wearing your products.
Yeah.
So, we have celebrities including Fat Boy, YB and Amir, Matt Ox, Holy God, That Dude, and many other celebrities wearing our products. So it's pretty.
That's great.
Yeah.
And do you guys get a lot? So are they just like they just wear it and then that's great, or are they like, is there an affiliate type style thing that you have going with them, or is just they just agreed to wear it?
To be honest, I feel like the affiliate stuff only works to an extent.
Yeah, for sure.
If something is genuine and like people are wearing it genuinely and showing and posting it genuinely, it has more value than just paying someone X amount of dollars.
I agree. I really
telling
think
them to wear and promote your product.
Yeah, I think a lot of brands, especially in like the health and wellness and supplement space, go like all in on affiliate, and then like every post you're like, fuck, are you telling me it's good, or are you just trying to sell me this thing?
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that extent.
Yeah, and so and you got all, did you get them all kind of the same way by individually reaching out, or did you kind of get one and then that kind of led into some other ones? Like how did that play out?
So it first started off with Fat Boy. Like, Fat Boy showed love when I met him down in Toronto. I've met up with him 3 times every time he comes down. Sort of just built a relationship, but like he kind of inspired me and motivated me because he's a very inspirational person. Always promoting positivity and not quitting what you do. So that's kind of why I've geared and continue to do what I do, and continue to network with these people. Not just meet them once, but meet them again and build that relationship.
Smart, man. Smart for a young kid. That's good.
Thank you.
That shit's gonna work all day.
Yeah.
I built my entire business on that, giving away help for free. I mean, this is a bit different, but when I was first starting, I would give a 45-minute workshop to somebody for free to tell them how they needed to do something, and then often enough they'd hire you to do it anyway, or whatever, or they would send their friend to you for something,
correct,
and then it just snowballs from there. So it's a great strategy. A lot of people are not thinking about it that way. They're thinking very transactionally, and it's pretty short-sighted. So I think you're onto something with that.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And so how have you been growing? Has it been good, bad, in between, all over the place?
I definitely say there is growth. Growth with revenue, growth with expanding to different cities, growth with networking, growth with finding new connections in the industry of music, whether it's celebrities, whether it's musicians, like artists. And just trying to get that brand awareness out there, because being known is more valuable than bringing in X amount of dollars, because that publicity will turn into revenue down the road. It won't happen right away. Business takes time, right?
Yeah, for sure. And especially with something like that where theoretically, other than inventory, the overhead for it is fairly minimal, which is nice. Other than your time building it and whatever inventory in your website hosting. The nice thing is that, you've got a long runway because your operating costs aren't crazy with a business like that, which is a great place to be. Yeah, you don't have to have...
Especially now that I've started to gear towards some business marketing as well, because I've been able to show to people that I can, delegate my products to celebrities.
Yeah.
I'm able to show people how to manage their businesses, and that's how we actually started managing a couple businesses.
Okay.
We also started managing a couple of artists, because we're so connected to these celebrities with millions and millions of followers. So I have connections to features, relationships to those hierarchy. Got
it. And so is that more kind of like a social media management type thing? Is that what
so basically all started with apparel, and I just realized that people don't just want to buy my clothes. People want to buy what I have value of, and that's my connections to these celebrities, my connections to these higher platforms.
Sure.
And so I started using that to my advantage and managing people's accounts and creating more diverse income for All Cities Clothing. As a clothing brand, people also have endorsements with these brands, sponsorships. There's not just X, Y, and Z brands selling just their clothes. They're selling their services, their endorsements, etc.
Yeah. And so how's that side of it going? Are you what are you more focused on, or is it kind of just like whatever makes sense in the moment, or how are you kind of splitting your time right now?
Honestly, whatever can help fund the business,
Yeah.
but at the same time show some sort of connection, because obviously you don't want to sell a product that's completely off target. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Right.
And so, are you involved in kind of planning and coordinating like photography and videography as a part of like building a content library for them, or is it kind of just, is it more strategic?
It's all just like, posting content on their Instagram, Facebook accounts, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And just controlling that aspect.
Yeah, yeah. Have you thought about kind of finding somebody who's like a good like hip hop
Honestly, like right now, when starting a business, you're very hesitant on hiring people just because you don't want to rely on them. But at the same time, it's like at one point in your life, you're going to need to hire someone. So you're going to have some sort of trust, but at the same time, just be very critical when analyzing and processing things further.
Yeah. Well, I think you could kind of go in the middle, right? You could find somebody that is established who shoots that style of photography and just bring them on a project by project basis. I don't think you need to like hire anybody, but I think having a good library of content for people in general, like, we go out and shoot, I'll go out and shoot like lifestyle shoots with my photographer. Yep. So we'll go for like 3 hours and we'll poke around the city, and then I'll have enough content for the next 4 to 5 months for just posting of stuff of me. And then we take content from this and other things I'm doing with my day. But then it always leaves us with a nice big library of like, if we wanted to post once a day, every day for the next 3 months, we're set. It'd be too many pictures of my face, but you get the idea.
Most certainly.
But yeah, that might be an interesting thing because people like having pictures of themselves.
Yeah.
I've learned very much. We do a little bit of photography for some of the brands we work with, and product shots and stuff like that, and having that as an offering has opened up, especially when we're thinking about it from, if I want to run some kind of a promo and I need a good picture, if we lump that picture into something else that we're doing for them, it gives you social and promotional stuff, and you can kind of put it in all together.
Yeah, you have different stuff to choose from.
Yeah, might be a thought.
Good. Diversity is key, definitely.
Might be a thought.
That's actually what our brand goes by. Like, we promote diversity and equality. Hence, all cities, we want to be diverse and be able to reach out and support everyone in every city, every country, and stuff like that.
Cool. And so with the social media that you're doing for the All Cities brand, you're obviously managing that.
Yeah.
Single operator.
Yeah, basically just have 3 different phones right now, and I just run them all, and basically just manage each one off each phone, because I don't want to make an error, post the wrong content on the wrong account, etc., stuff like that.
God, who has 3 phones?
Honestly, like when you're delegating so many different accounts, you're liable for so much. So you don't want to make an error. You don't want to post the wrong stuff. You don't want to
comment on something as somebody else's account.
Yeah,
seen it a lot. I've seen it a lot.
I've done that from my personal to my business, right? Yeah. And you got to be professional. So
yeah. And then, so how are you kind of thinking about strategy for the brand content?
So right now, what I'm doing is I'm just putting a bunch of photos together for myself. Majority of the photography I do myself.
Nice.
I know I should be reaching out to other photographers, which I've done a couple shoots, but don't get as much information or much photography work as I wish I had.
Yeah.
So that's definitely one thing I should work on. To be honest, you'll definitely see us expanding and working with more celebrities for sure this year.
Nice.
As well.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I'll connect you with a photographer that I think would be a really good fit for what you guys do.
Nice.
I won't say him on here. Shout out to Matt. I love you, Matt. Super talented guy. I worked with him through one of my clients. He does all the videography for their events.
Yep.
And he's just a super talented guy, and he can shoot.
Yeah, I'm interested.
Quantity of stuff. So I'll send you his contact info. And so so sticking on the strategy a little bit, are you thinking about do you have a mapped out, I'm always curious, do people have a mapped out strategy of what they want to do, a certain amount of posts a week, certain amount of engagements, and doing this and doing that? Do you kind of have a checklist for yourself that you follow, or is it kind of just where you can find the time, because it's kind of
honestly, I feel like the checklist stuff does work. I do agree. However, one thing I'd mention is that when I think about life, I always think about life as a journey, not a destination. I always tell myself that, because you can write down what you plan to do this week,
Sure.
but they can all go wrong.
Sure.
You know, so your plan just went sour, and you don't know what you're gonna do next. You know,
Yeah.
so that's kind of why I always say, like, go day by day. Don't map out what's gonna happen next week, or obviously plan what it is that you want to delegate to.
Right.
But take it slowly. Don't think everything's gonna happen right away. Right.
Yeah. Well, all it takes is one weird phone call or an email from somebody, and then your whole week's different.
Right.
That doesn't change. Ever.
Yeah, that's another thing I was gonna say
That
to
doesn't
you.
change
Like,
ever. Yeah.
you want to be careful because you never know what could happen when you get those phone calls. Those emails. Like,
Right.
You don't want to panic. You want to be patient. That's one thing that I've learned from starting this business. Is definitely that you want to do your research and look into what it is that you want to create before you go and create it. Because you never know if someone actually has it created already. You never know what
Right.
it may be.
How did you activate that process for your product in particular? Was that just like a Google thing? Was that an Instagram thing? Like how do you kind of frame up the research side?
So to be honest, like, it's crazy. Like, when I was basically, I got very lucky when I was young. I invested into stocks. I made a significant amount of money. I took that money and invested it straight into my company.
Nice.
And when I created my company, I went through Kijiji.
Yep.
And just searched up, lawyers, and just found one and created a company, you know. So
Got it. So it was kind of just on a whim.
yeah,
wanted to make it happen.
never met my lawyer, never met, like yeah.
That's unique.
Yeah, you gotta have trust.
Fair enough. And so where do you want to take it from now? What's the goal? What's the main kind of goal with the brand?
So the goal would be to expand to more celebrities. And the reason why I say celebrities is because I feel like there's a lot of politics with celebrities and the music industry as well. And I feel like if you can kind of show that, hey, everyone that's of high value or that has a significant audience is wearing the same brand, which, promotes a good cause, diversity and equality, then people won't frown upon each other as much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. And so do you have a goal of like, I want 10 more people or whatever it is kind of signed up? Like how are you kind of strategizing that?
So yeah, I definitely see timing is key. You don't want to shoot too much at once because then it devalues you if you don't have nothing else after that.
Right.
Like you said, how you have like all those pictures lined up for 4 or 5 months,
Right.
You know what I mean? You can pick through that timing which ones you want, right?
Sure. But from the like getting celebrities and people on board, like are you is that just kind of a like whoever you kind of come across that makes sense, or do you kind of have like a hit list of people that you're trying to connect with?
So yeah, I do have a hit list, and I do like actually reach out to certain people. Obviously I'm either waiting for a message or hoping that someone messages me, right?
For sure. One thing that we've been playing around with a lot, and it's worked really, really well, is doing voice DM. So in Instagram, you can, when you go to message the person, you can text, and then there's also a button where you can send them a voicemail on Instagram. And we're getting every fucking person opening it. Our open rate for it is like our response rate for messages that we send out is like crazy. Because when you read it via text, it's easy to ignore, right? Like I get a message and I'm like, either I'm interested or I'm not, whatever. But I can pass by that quickly. If you do it by voice,
it shows they listen.
What it shows is it shows just the audio blips to them, and they can't see what it is until they click play, and they have to hear it. And what I feel, my instinct on it in its early stages, I've only been doing it for about 2 months.
Yeah.
But my instinct on it is when you can deliver a message by voice, it brings a human connection. That reading somebody's text and not knowing if that's genuine text, you know what I mean? Like if I get a bunch of DMs, sometimes they're like really well done bots, and you're like, oh, that sounds cool, and you reach out and you're like, oh, this is a bullshit account. Great. And I think people, especially people with a lot of followers, get pounded by asks and you know what I mean? So yeah, I've been doing them by voice where I'm recording saying, hey, it's Mike from Social Media House. I've got this thing, or I want to talk about this thing. Would love to connect. Love your page. Da 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 da.
Correct.
And then it sends them just the audio blip, and then that's all they can see on their side.
You get a lot of engagement back.
Crazy.
Interesting. I'll definitely try that one out.
Yeah, because it's very tempting. I was thinking about the psychology of it, where like if I were to receive it, I would have to listen to it. I couldn't ignore it and not listen to it, even if it was like, this is probably a crazy
but
person.
you know how when people send the message, you can see the message but ignore it.
Yes.
And it shows like it doesn't show as an R-bomb.
Yeah.
When you send the message and they listen to the message but they don't open it and click allow, does it still show as an R-bomb or no?
No.
Okay, but as long as you're getting the engagement, that's all that matters.
Yeah, like I said, the response rate has been so high on it. I'm like, I don't even care about that because the volume of interactions is high. I'm like, and I like it too because I'm horrible at writing by a lot, which is why I do podcasts.
Oh, okay.
So I like the idea of just being able to be like, hey, Karen, I really like your page. I'd love for you to come on the show or whatever that thing is. Try that. Yeah, it's been really good.
Yeah, it's okay, man. That's why I say I can sell, but I can't spell. Right?
Oh my God, I'm gonna steal that. That's so good. That's so good. I'm horrible at spelling. Right? I even send emails sometimes, and I'll get them back from like my operations team, being like, "Can you read the things that you write?" I'm like, "I thought I did. I really thought I did, but it doesn't work."
Trust me.
Bad, yeah.
I'm the same way.
Cool. So yeah, that DM is kind of a cool idea.
I'm definitely gonna check into that.
And then, how do you find and discover the people that you want to reach out to? Is it like, do you tell me about that?
Honestly, I feel like if I like them, if I like their music, if I like what it is that they have to offer to their audience, then I'll give them the product. Like I feel like, those are the type of people that I want to work with. People that you like are the people that you want to work with. But even if you don't like them, you still want to work with them because you never know who you're gonna run down to in the road, right? So,
but do you have a system for like finding artists to then kind of pick apart and see if you actually like them? A
big audience, engagement, real engagement. I don't want to see like fake things that aren't adding up. If your likes don't add up to your followers, your comments don't add up to your. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, for sure. But do you kind of just like go through like discovery mode on Instagram? Do you ever like? I would think about it like I would just search things by like hashtag, kind of go through and then find some profiles that I like. How do you have a way that you kind of like hunt down to find prospects?
So yeah, through like platforms like WorldStar.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Mutual friends of other celebrities that I follow.
Yeah.
Other big artists that I listen to on SoundCloud, on YouTube. If I like their music, I'll see their Instagram account. If their Instagram account's booming, I'll message them.
Yeah. How do you stumble across the music that you listen to? This is just a personal thing because I'm always looking for interesting ways to find music. Like I have a curated playlist that I update all the time.
Yeah.
And so on Spotify specifically, and at the end of it makes like a radio playlist, and then I will let my playlist go into that because there will be some random shit, and I'll find like 4 or 5 songs that I like. Like, how do you discover the music that you
like? Yeah. I know a lot of people do that. They'll listen to what's new. Those like on Spotify, like they have that what's new, like and what caviar, what interests you.
Yep.
On Spotify, I know people do use that. I personally use like WorldStar.
Yeah.
Because they post a lot of new hip hop artists and hip hop artists in general on that content.
Do you follow @rap?
At Rap. No.
They're interesting. You might find some stuff on there too.
Yeah.
I've been following them for a while. Yeah, they do a lot of posts about different artists. I don't know if they still do quite a bit about like new and up and coming as well. Yeah, check out @rap.
Nice.
I have no affiliation with them. I just follow them because they post good.
I'm not promoting them, but yeah, follow them, man.
Yeah, it's funny. Every time I like promote a piece of software or whatever, I'm like very specific. I'm like, I do not have any affiliation. I don't have an affiliate link. I just fucking like them and I like their product. Yeah. That's it. Leave me alone. Because it's that same idea, like the idea of if you're giving someone information, but then you have, I hate people that write content or publish content that's like this glowing review about something, and then you see a link to the website and then you hover over it and you can see that it's like their affiliate link. And you're like, you fuck.
You want money.
Yeah, you just want to make money from doing this post. Like I lose all interest in it, even if it's a great product. Actually the best scenario or the best like example I ever saw was this guy who was a veteran in the US, and and he was talking about trying to rack up like travel points and whatever. And I don't know what his job was then, but he wrote like an article on LinkedIn. And it was about this Amex card and how the points and the sign-up bonuses and stuff helped him travel around to like visit people and do whatever. And I was like, oh, cool. I'm always looking for cards that I can get the most rewards and stuff out of, because we run a lot of ads through Facebook and Google, and all those go through on the credit card. We're racking up crazy points for that, right? So I'm always like, if there's a card that's the best card to get, I want to know.
Yeah.
So anyway, I read, it was like this heartfelt story about da-da-da-da-da and all this stuff. And then right at the bottom, it was maybe like 700 words. I read through the whole thing. I'm like, shit, this card looks great. It has all the flight benefits. It has like airport lounge stuff, which I like. And then it was a link that was like his affiliate link to the Airmax. I'm like, fuck. I'm not going to do it now. Even though the car looked good, I won't do it.
That's hilarious.
I won't buy it from you bastard. So, I don't know. That's just my weird... the thing I don't like, and the thing I hate about this industry, is that people don't understand that exists. And they don't know.
Yeah.
Most people don't know. So they think they're just reading this great piece of content, and then all of a sudden they're buying something and that guy's getting paid. And that was a biased position because he's getting paid for it.
I know.
People just don't know how to recognize it, and there's a lot of dishonesty and shadiness. It really makes me mad.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
Anyway, I don't like
So devastated.
That was enough of a rant for me. I'm sorry. Let's move back on. Okay, and so gaining some momentum from celebrities and that. Do you have like goals that you set regarding like following on social, or is it kind of just like whatever comes as a result of what I'm trying to put out?
Yeah, like I guess we do obviously focus on like growing our social media presence, because like obviously that's how we met.
Yeah.
Right now we have about 16,000 followers. And it's pretty cool because when I go on like live on Instagram, I see people from India, China, like Africa, like all sorts of countries, and it's crazy. Like little kids in New Zealand, like Ukraine, like it's crazy, like how you can connect to people just through a platform and not have to be there to talk to them. Like it's crazy what social media can do, right?
Yeah. And so kind of just continued growth, obviously putting out good content. Do you have a product catalog that goes on through Instagram? Can you like tag your products?
No, that's only through Shopify.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think there's a way that you can manually upload a product catalog if you have a business Facebook account, so not a business page, but if you create an account through business.facebook.com, it has like the ad manager and it has all that stuff. I actually think that you can create a custom catalog in there, and that would link to the products on your site. It's like a manual upload it via CSV, and it links to the page on your site, and I think you can do it that way. So if you sign up for an account, business.facebook.com, I think you could do the product catalog on your Instagram.
Find out and then message me that,
I will.
Yeah, because I think that could actually be valuable, because I know like a lot of pages have that set up.
Yeah. And I think Shopify makes it so easy, which is why a lot of people think it's just Shopify's thing, because all you do is you click one button and it's like, here's all the products, which is why we've got like 12 stores on Shopify. Like almost all of our clients have e-commerce are on Shopify because of the integration side. But I'm pretty sure, you can do it via CSV that links up to your product pages, and then it allows you to do that Instagram shop.
Interesting. Yeah, definitely. Homie set that up.
Yeah, I'll set it up.
I'm
pulling in the right direction.
I'm gonna page you for that one now. I'm using this against you after the interview. It's all recorded.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? It's all. Hi, Mom. She doesn't watch the show.
Hi, Mom.
She doesn't watch the show. I don't think. She might. She's a good.
You should send her the links.
I will. No, she's a good supporter. She always likes all of our branded content and stuff like that. She's great. She's always sharing it on her wall. I'm like, none of your friends care, but keep doing it. I love you for it. I love you for it.
I hear that one.
And so where do you see it kind of going? So you've got really, I guess everything else that you're doing, I guess, is funding the clothing brand side of it, right? That
Correct.
seems to be the gist.
Yeah. And basically that's just done through getting more exposure. Because obviously when you're starting a brand, no one knows about who you are. No one knows about what it is that you do. So like that's mainly what I'm focusing on right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I won't give up, and I feel like if I just continue to push and just show slow signs of increase in growth and revenue, in size, and capabilities that I'm, offering to people,
Yeah.
then I'll definitely grow,
Absolutely. And it is a slow burn. It's like you got to get people to trust you, and then after they trust you, you got to not fuck it up.
Yeah.
And then you got to ask them if they'll tell their friends. So yeah, it takes a while, but it seems like the way that you're approaching it feels like a good direction. It feels like it's a smart way to do it. So I like that. Anything from the marketing side that you have questions about? Anything I can help you with at all? Or?
No, other than that one, point about connecting the website to the Instagram account, that would definitely be helpful if you can do that, for sure.
Yeah.
Just because people they don't want to just click the link in the bio, they want to see that thing pop up at the bottom of the screen, and then you click it and it's like, oh yeah, let me buy this product.
Have you played around with any of those link in bio ones where they make you have more options, they make it bigger, like Linktree or Shoreby or anything like that?
Where you can connect different. Interesting.
Have you played with that yet?
No, I actually haven't. I know a lot of artists that do it, to connect their SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify.
There's a couple that are built specifically for music, like Wave and then SoundLink. And then Linktree is more, you could do it on Linktree as well, but Linktree is more just like other outbound links. But it might be an interesting way to do it, especially if you're publishing like blog content or whatever. And I think if you put content on the site that's like, hey, look at our product in the wild, and you could have showing pictures of people wearing it and a little write up like, this is how we got to know this person and da 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 da. So that when so here's the thing, right? If you're doing posts on Instagram, not everybody's gonna understand or even see the post that we're posted with the celebrity. They might have no idea. They might stumble across you from somewhere else. So you could almost have that link if they're interested in, like, they like the clothes. It pops it up and it's like, like celebrities wearing our clothes, and like that could link out to posts on the site. So they, oh shit, that's cool. This person wears it. And
Yeah.
Almost like providing social proof before they go anywhere.
That's smart. That's a good idea.
Interesting thought.
Just to show some sort of credibility with the product. Right.
How do you guys tackle reviews and stuff?
We have a Google Ads, a Google account, a Google business account.
Yeah.
And on that business account, we have reviews, which you can see. Majority of them are all good. Yeah. Obviously, you're gonna have a 1-2 bad review, but you can't complain if there's people that don't like you. Then clearly you're doing your good business,
or you bought all the reviews from China.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you have to have some sort of feedback on your products. Nothing's going to be perfect. Yeah. Nothing's going to be 100%. You just got to give it, all you can, and make sure that those customers are 100% satisfied with it. You give them something.
Do you have incentive? Do you have an email sequence where after 2 weeks after the product is sent, that it automatically sends an email saying, hey, we'd love to hear your feedback. Can you give us a review?
So I know that when I send the order and I fulfill the order, it tells them that it's been sent and that they've received it, etc. And it's all done through tracking numbers as well. However, I don't do that specifically where I, message them and say exactly what you said. Yeah. But very similar.
Yeah, it might be an interesting idea. There's actually there's actually a really cool product that, do you know Net Promoter Score? Have you heard that? It's basically an all or nothing, yes or no. Would you recommend the business? Would you recommend the product? Right? And so some companies will do it. It's like a scale of 1 to 10. Mm-hmm. And so how likely would you be to recommend us to a friend? 1 to 10. Mm-hmm. And so there's some products that you can use where, like, after an order goes through, they get put into this sequence, and then at 2 weeks it would email them and it would say, hey, how likely would you be to recommend our product? If they rank it low, under 6, then it's like, oh, thank you so much for your feedback. We'll let the boss know, whatever. And then it goes away. But if the score is above 7 and they were likely to recommend it, then it's like, cool, would you mind giving us a review? You can do it on Facebook or Google. And it actually gives you the links to do that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Send me that too as well. You're giving me all this great knowledge.
Good. That's what this is for.
When I go back and listen to this clip, I'm definitely going to write this down and take notes.
Because I think, so people aren't, so I've had clients that do like quite a few, like quite a few volume and different tickets, different ticket price kind of sales. And one thing is universal with products. Very, very few happy people will come and tell you that they're happy. All the people that are pissed will come and tell you that they're pissed every time. Make sense?
Yeah.
And so I think, we try and move the needle on, and the response rate on people actually giving a review is not that high. Because it's like, yeah, I ordered your shirt. Leave me the fuck alone. Like, I liked it, shirt. I'm not going to write, I don't want to write anything. Leave me alone. Like, getting feedback and getting reviews is tough because people are always worried. It's like, did you catch them at the right time where they're like, yeah, cool, I'll spend 10 minutes to think about this.
Yeah, exactly.
Or they get worried that they're not going to write the perfect thing and then they leave halfway through. That's super common. But I think making sure that everyone that receives it has the opportunity, and I would give them a little push to be like, hey, and whatever tool you use, there's a bunch of different things out there that do it. But I think reaching out to every single person, because then if they're not liking it or it was whatever, you don't want them then going to trash you online, because as much as that's going to happen sometimes anyway, if they come back and they say, well, I'd only say 2 out of 10 is what I'd recommend. That basically means I wouldn't recommend you to anyone ever. Then it gives you the opportunity to reach out and be like, hey, like, what was that about? And you can do a correction of that. Either get on the phone, to someone call, like, people don't do that these days, but it's so effective, man. Like, literally just calling and saying, hey, I saw that you didn't have
because you could retain that potential customer, right?
I just was curious about it. Oh, well, the picture of it looked like it was this color, but when I got it, it was a bit of a different color than I thought. Like, that's what people hate people for. Weird shit like that. Like, it could be the tiniest little thing, or it came to them and they were in the middle of a bad day, and the one thread that was loose, they're like, 1 out of 10, fuck you. And you're like, how did that happen? Yeah. But a lot of those you can get back by saying, hey, like, how can we help? Like, what was the problem?
And then give them some sort of incentive where, you provide them a product, an extra product, or whatever the case may be, right? Just to compensate, right?
Yeah, that's my instinct too. But I'll tell you, the real answer after doing it a bunch of times is you taking the time to make the call to them is usually the thing. They're not usually looking for anything. If you give them an acknowledgement that then they can, here's the thing. If you call and you essentially call them out on it, you're not calling them out, but you're just, hey, I just wanted to check in because I saw it was a low rating. And they're like, yeah, well, it was this one little thing. And you're like, look, I'm really sorry that happened. It's not like, that's not how we like to have it happen. How can I make it better? Usually at that point, they're like, I'm complaining about something that's really fucking petty and dumb. I'm going to probably just say that this is okay now and be happy that they called. That happens all the time.
Yeah. Because it's realistic, right? Like, we live in a materialistic world, and people are realize, like you said, it's petty or something so small, right? So I agree.
And the thing is, if you think about something that you've had a bad experience with, you ordered food from somewhere and then there was like one little problem and you're like, I'm never ordering from that again. Fuck these guys.
Correct.
But if they had ever called you and say, hey, how was it? And you'd be like, well, this was a bit of a problem. And they're like, I'm really sorry that happened. You'd be like, I'm so happy that you cared that I was upset about that. Yeah. And in retrospect, that was a dumb thing to never order from you again for. People just and if you don't check on it, then it's easy for someone to fester and just be like, this is a bullshit company now. And then every friend that ever hears about it or sees it, no, they're bullshit. Yeah. Why? Oh, I had a horrible experience. But if you can kind of nip some of that in the bud, if people aren't happy for whatever reason, and if most of them are happy, then great. But if you can salvage those here and there, little ones, it's super impactful, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You have any other tips for me? I'd appreciate that.
Yeah. I don't know. I think those are a lot of action items.
I think you could definitely think of more.
What else? Yeah, voice DMs, connecting on Instagram, store. The review thing is big, especially because if you get people that are happy and then you prompt them to make a review, you'll start getting them up. Because I'll tell you what happens with reviews, whether it's Facebook reviews or Google reviews. The search engine optimization elements of that are huge. So somebody, now you're in a tough spot. Like SEO around brands of clothes, really fucking hard. Like even like street brands or urban brands or whatever classification, there's so much competition. It'd be very hard to get on the page. But I'll tell you that like as people stumble across you, the ability for your product to already have some credibility just from the get-go of like I stumbled on it from here or there, and right at the start 250 reviews. 4 star is the best reviews. I find anything 4.5 or 5, nobody believes. 4 stars is like such a sweet spot. I don't know why, but it tells you that it lets people know that you fucked up enough that people have gotten mad, but enough people have ordered that it's kind of leveled out.
You don't want a small number of reviewers. You want like a large number, so this way you can see that, hey, a lot of people actually actually reviewed us, but at the same time, out of those large numbers, this many.
Yeah. I think those things will like help. Have you thought about or have you done any advertising online?
I've ran Google ads. I've ran like Facebook ads. What else have I done? I've done it all. I just feel like unless you're using really, really high professional quality pictures and a very interesting, catchy message, people will be intrigued to buy it. Yeah. But if it's just something simple, like no one really cares. Like people just skip it and go to the next ad,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's a lot. Yeah. I mean, you think about how badly we get inundated with ads online. It's crazy. And a lot of people are sick of it, but a lot of people still buy a lot of shit online from that. So that's a good spot. I think one thing to think about from the perspective of like, so you're getting pictures and you're getting content from people. I think doing some more like blogging style content or some other piece of content that goes out and provides some value or some entertainment to the people that you want to have buying your stuff. Yep. So I treat my podcast like this, right? Like this is targeted at small to mid-sized companies who could use a marketing advice. And sometimes for me, I'm just like, hey, here's one tool that you can use, and people's heads pop off. They're like, I didn't even know that was a thing. I was interviewing a guy a week ago, Matt, and he didn't know that there was a tool that allowed you to track what traffic source your leads on the website came from. And I was like, oh, it's called CallRail, and it's like $80 a month. I'm not affiliated with CallRail. And it, like, just to understand that he could understand his business metrics like that was like,
yeah, there's even Google Analytics.
Right. And so for me, this is my version of that, where like a business owner will see it and they're like, oh my God, I'm not in that industry, but that one thing like really helped me. Now there might not be anything like that specifically for clothing, but there might be I
would suggest using Google Analytics. Mm-hmm. It actually works very, very good. It shows you like, like your demographic, like the audience, all sorts, like insights, everything. It shows you like a number of clicks and everything. So I would definitely suggest that as well.
Yeah, and he was using that. It was just on top of that, if he was running a Facebook ad, he couldn't tell if somebody called him that it came from a Facebook ad. So what CallRail does is it layers numbers over top of your website depending on where they come from. So if you get 9999 versus 9998, you know that it was a Facebook ad call because the traffic made the website phone numbers change. That's what he was using it for.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a really cool tool. But yeah, what I was saying is I think putting out interesting and fun and valuable content, it doesn't have to be knowledge based all the time. It can just be entertaining shit.
I feel like stuff like this too also helps, right?
For sure. But even putting out content about, hey, here's a bunch of other cool brands. Mm-hmm. Like, we have got some brands that are like very male oriented. And so, we'll do blog posts for Father's Day on like just random cool products that we found from completely other companies. Now, we'll speckle one of our products in to that because obviously the 1 out of the 10 is going to be one of our things. Yeah. But we're also saying, hey, here's, this clock radio and this golf game or whatever these things are, and kind of curating lists because we know that the people that are buying our product are also kind of into that stuff. Yeah, exactly. And then we're actually advertising those blog posts on Facebook because then it's not seeing something where it's like, hey, buy this thing. Hey, here's a cool picture, buy this thing. Yeah. Here's a cool video, buy this thing. It's like, hey, we put together this list to make your life easier, to find a whole bunch of cool options under $100 for Father's Day or whatever the case is. Yeah. Our product's going to be in there, and if you loved us for sharing it and you like our picture, you like our clothes, great. If not, and you found the clock radio for dad, then great. But that might trigger them to follow you on Facebook or Instagram. And then over time, as you post, as new things come out, as you go live, once you've got their attention there, you can kind of, slowly sell to them through different stuff.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think figuring out some content that you could be producing outside of like, here's our stuff, buy our stuff. Like, what are the other things you guys can talk about? So, the top,
I feel like I'd say, like, just provide value in general, whether it's, going on, like, and maybe telling your audience by going on your social media platforms and telling them something positive, or telling them something, like, hey, if you do this, this, and this, this could be the outcome. So this way, you're providing some sort of insight.
Yeah, inspiration, motivation's big.
Yeah, people find that more valuable than just, hey, let me go to your website and buy this product.
And so I would think about if you're playing in the ad space a little bit, with Facebook ads and Instagram ads, you can run an engagement ad at $1 a day. At your target demographic, right? Yeah. And so I would say if you create some longer form stuff, even if it's a video that you post on your blog, but driving people to your website to look at stuff like that and not relating to the product at all, because it just builds credibility, it builds awareness, it builds you being a helpful person to them, but you actually advertise those pieces of content more than our product.
Correct.
Because the one thing you can do is, after they've been on your site, using Google Analytics or using the Facebook Pixel, have you heard of that?
Yep.
Yeah, using that, you can then, like, once they've been on your site, you can remarket to them. You can then send them an ad for your clothes later. Yeah. But just getting more people to the site, because the thing is, like, if there's not anything interesting to read or pay attention to, then it's like, cool, if I want the clothes right now and I like it enough, I'll do it.
Yeah, I don't even think they charge you if you don't get the clicks.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But I think bringing people to the website for content that's, like, interesting or motivational or whatever that thing is, gives them a reason to come, stay there for a bit, like you, without you pushing a sale.
Yeah.
But then you can push the sale 2 weeks later.
I like how you said that, though. Like, like you, because people don't buy a product because they like your product. People buy your product because they like you.
Yeah.
Like, it's personal branding, Yeah. You got to sell yourself before you can sell the product.
For sure. And even if you have, like, a really niche concept, it could be around something that you're interested in already, right? Like, street style in the wild. Like, here's the top 10 cool urban outfits that we found this week. Mm-hmm. And, like, then if you know what brands they are, like, have you ever seen the hell is it? It's Hyperbeast. Have you heard of Hyperbeast?
So, something similar.
It's like a style guide kind of thing, but they do a thing called Essentials, and I'm addicted to it. And so what it is it's a flat lay picture of some person, whether it's a creator, an artist, or a designer, of what they carry in their backpack. So it's like the backpack, and then the camera, and their the brand, whatever hard drive they use, and sunglasses, and wallet, and, like, everything. And it's a top down shot like that, and it's like, this is what this guy is wearing. You can go follow him here, and then it links out. Oh, this is a Western Digital hard drive and this brand of backpack, and it leads out to those areas. Mm-hmm. But it's like this huge curation of, like, man, like that, like, I want that collection of cool shit. And it's you promoting other people's stuff, but also providing a lookbook or an insight or something for people. So I think trying to figure out what you can do in your niche,
like, it's a brand connection.
Yeah, what you can do in your niche, and also it also shows love to other brands, right? It's really great if you were like, hey, I found this microphone and it was amazing.
Yeah,
and
people don't want to see you just as a competitor. People want to see you as, like, oh, yo, this is inclusive.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, like, you start doing it and you don't even say anything. You just tag them in some stuff and show them some love and promote their product here and there. Not like with ads, but putting it out there for them. Like, I'll tell you, they start following you, and then the next thing you know, you're gonna collab with the microphone company with a special edition print on your shirt. You're gonna do a giveaway with them. So there's a lot there when you build the relationship by just showing love and just kind of promoting other people.
Definitely agree.
And as long as it's in the right, as long as it's the right type of content for the audience that you want, and you know that they're going to be paying attention to it, it's like a killing two birds with one stone. Yep. What about collaborations? I was going to end it, but I just thought about this. What about collaborations with, like, different artists, like graffiti artists or different stuff?
I definitely think collaborations definitely help. It's funny because when I first started and I did my first collaboration, I don't want to talk too much heavily upon it, but it wasn't good because I don't know how to say it, but I basically, like, I relied too much on it. Right. And it's good to build collaborations and work with people. The one thing I would suggest is do your research on who you're doing your collaborations with before you do them.
Yeah.
And have some sort of written agreement.
Yes.
Because legal bindings and agreements like that are definitely important for down the road.
Yeah. Yeah, clothing industry, just like the marketing industry, lots of sketchiness.
Yeah, well, any legal business in general, I feel like.
Yeah.
You know, there's just a lot of legality behind everything, right?
Right. Yeah, but I think collaborations, because you've got, you know, this certain logo with a certain style, there's probably some interesting people that you could have them design something with your in it, and then have that like limited edition, one of 50 or one of 100.
Yeah, exactly.
Sell them at a bit more of a premium for the collab, and then it's just getting it out there.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then I guess you're kind of doing influencers, but you're thinking about it on the scale more of a celebrity influencer rather than general influencers.
Yeah.
So
there still is an audience though for those general influencers. I would definitely agree.
Yeah. Are you playing in the space at all? Are you kind of, if you find the right person on Instagram?
Yeah, it's just kind of like if I find the right person. If they're because I'm pretty diverse, like from comedians to music artists to, you know, people that just get posted on World Star.
Yeah.
You know, just because they get a little bit of clout, but like, you know, stuff like that.
Fair enough. Interesting, man. Well, I'm gonna follow along the journey on social, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thanks for coming on, man.
You too as well.
All right.
Take care.